We're watching what's going on, and joining us on the phone right now is Musimo Gabriel Tokyo Sexwale, who served time, who spent years in Robben Island in the prison with Nelson Mandela. Mr. Sexwale, thank you so much for joining us. Give us some thoughts right now on Nelson Mandela. We're showing our viewers what it was like during the apartheid regime, what it was like. Tell us what it was like, especially on Robben Island in prison.
Well, let me first say that our people in South Africa and the world has lost a formidable leader, I must say, a leader of great fortitude, Nelson Mandela, who demonstrated that leadership is not about power, but on the contrary, it's about honor, it's about respect and love for the people. And that's what we learned from Nelson Mandela during the dark days with him on Robben Island. Today, he is seen as an icon of the world, whose teachings, as well as his principles, whose values, need to be embraced by all. But Nelson Mandela was embraced by even white warders, his own jailers, on Robben Island, because he demonstrated that through the power of dialogue, through the element and tool of reconciliation, people on different sides, former enemies, can come together. That's how we as South Africa were able to resolve our intractable problems created by the racist system of apartheid. We concluded that in order for us to create a new society, a democratic society, for a united and non-racial and non-sexist South Africa, we've got to embrace all people. And that was seen right throughout the years we spent with Nelson Mandela in prison.
I have a picture, Mr. Sexwale, of the cell, Nelson Mandela's cell. There you see, Robben Island, the prison had small cells. I think we're going to be able to show our viewers a cell where Nelson Mandela himself spent so many years. Now, there it is right there. Awful conditions. He took President Clinton there in March of 1998 on a tour. I remember that well. I was the White House correspondent for CNN at the time, and it was a moment that I'll never forget. But I'm going to show our viewers a picture of the two of you, Mr. Sexwale. There you are, you and Nelson Mandela. You worked together. How many years were you in Robben Island prison together with him?
Well, Nelson Mandela spent a total of 27 years. That is well known throughout the world. I got a discount. I was in prison for 15 years, spending 13 of those years on Robben Island. But it's not about the time that we spent there, but the time that we spent there discussing, strategizing, looking at how the future ahead of us is going to be resolved. You're speaking about a small cell of Nelson Mandela. My cell is only about 2-3 meters away from his cell. The cell is small, but it contained a formidable, a very larger-than-life figure, but somebody who was really very humble, somebody who loved life, who loved his people. And those principles were well tuned up throughout the years when we were on Robben Island. Today, we see Nelson Mandela as the emblematic leader that he has become. But people should know that he crunched those values, the principles of reconciliation, of dialogue, on Robben Island, side by side with other leaders like Walter Sisulu, Governor Mbeki, the father of President Mbeki, and so on. Of course, Nelson Mandela is gone, but let me tell you what we believe. Mandelaism must live forever.